And finally, what's likely to change in the Keeping Children Safe in Education for September, and when will guidance be published?
This is a big question. So the DFE's consultation on changes to keeping children safe in education that would come into force in September has just closed. I say just, it was a month ago. Where's the time going? And for the most part, the headline is that there are no major changes. They're not proposing any new statutory requirements. So in that sense, everything is much more about clarifying or expanding on things that are already in the guidance. One of the more significant changes or proposals is that they're suggesting that you could potentially provide a condensed version of part 1 of Keeping Children Safe in education to those staff who don't work directly with children on a regular basis. So you can continue to have them read the full version, or you may be able to provide them with a condensed version. That condensed version doesn't exist at the moment, so it would be new for 2021. Apart from that, it's really just clarifications and expansions on existing details within the guidance. So for instance, in part 1 about kind of safeguarding information for all staff, some of the changes or clarifications, I guess, that they're proposing are kind of that your behavior policy should include measures to prevent bullying, including cyberbullying. That's already true of most schools' behavior policies, but it's just a clarified expectation. Additionally, there's clarification around the definition of sexting, for example. So these are relatively not minor, nothing about safeguarding is minor, but there are no new statutory requirements. So none of this will require a massive upheaval to your processes. Particularly the changes that they're proposing in part 1 would probably just mean tweaks or updates to your safeguarding training to make sure that any new definitions or clarifications are also clear for all of your staff. There's also some proposed clarifications in each of the other sections. So part 2, part 3, and parts 4 and 5 as well as in Annex C, they are consulting on some changes to the way that the designated safeguarding lead role is described. So for instance, they're proposing that the role description for DSLs would include responsibilities related to working with mental health leads, where safeguarding concerns are linked to mental health, and promoting supportive engagement with parents and carers, or promoting educational outcomes for children in need by addressing things they've experienced in specific ways. For instance, helping the school understand who the cohort of at-risk children is, and supporting teaching staff in very specific ways. But for the most part, the changes are more to clarify. So as before, some additional clarity on who goes on your single central record, and when you conduct, safer recruitment checks on staff from overseas, exactly what you're supposed to do there. Obviously, it's a lot of detail, and it's important that you get it all right. And so on the Key for School Leaders, you can see a full summary of all of the proposed changes, even the really tiny semantic stuff where they've just changed the wording of a section, because we know that that's really important. It can help you update your policies and procedures and training materials and things like that. So if you're a member of the Key for School Leaders, or if you become a member, you can access that full summary there.
Thank you so much for your time, Kaley. If anybody would like to find out more about the Key and their services, you can find the link in the post above. Thank you for taking time to join us on our Q&A, and as always, I'll publish them in a blog so that you can access them whenever. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend.